Before Rome, before Egypt's pharaohs, before even the legends of Troy, one man built an empire from nothing. A name whispered in the dust of millennia, a king who clawed his way from obscurity to rule the world. This is the story of the first emperor in history, a story that begins not with a crown, but with a baby abandoned in a river. Thousands of years ago, the land between the two rivers, Mesopotamia, was a patchwork of warring city-states. Sumerian cities like Ur and Uruk fought for land, water, and gods. Into this chaotic world, a legend was born. A gardener found a baby floating in a basket of reeds on the Euphrates River. He raised the child as his own, naming him Sargon. No one knew his true parentage. Sargon grew up with no royal blood, no claim to power, just a burning ambition. As a young man, he became the cupbearer to the king of Kish, a position of trust. But trust can be a dangerous thing. The king had a dream, a prophecy that his cupbearer would overthrow him. Terrified, the king sent Sargon on a suicide mission, but Sargon didn't die. He returned not as a servant, but as a conqueror. The details are lost to time, but one thing is certain. Sargon seized the throne of Kish. The gardener's boy was now a king, but one city was not enough. Sargon looked beyond the walls of Kish and saw not a collection of rival cities, but a single land waiting to be united. He forged a new kind of army, a professional, standing army loyal only to him. Armed with powerful composite bows and organized in tight phalanx formations, they were an unstoppable force. Sargon marched south, conquering the legendary Sumerian city of Uruk. He tore down its famous walls. He captured its king, Lugal-Zagassi, the most powerful ruler in Sumer, and dragged him in a neck stalk to the temple of the god Enlil. A message to all who would defy him: your kings and your gods will bow to Sargon. One by one, the great cities of Sumer fell. Sargon's ambition was relentless. He washed his weapons in the waters of the Persian Gulf, a symbolic gesture declaring his dominion over the entire land. But how could one man, a usurper with no royal lineage, hold together such a vast and rebellious territory? If you're enjoying this, make sure to subscribe for more hidden history. Sargon's true genius wasn't just in conquest. It was in control. He created the world's first empire. He replaced the old rulers of the conquered cities with his own trusted governors, men loyal to him and his dynasty. He standardized weights and measures, creating a vast free trade zone that stretched across Mesopotamia. Commerce boomed. He established a postal system, with clay tablet letters carried by messengers on a network of roads, connecting his sprawling empire. Sargon understood that an empire needed more than just soldiers and governors. It needed a shared identity. He cleverly merged the gods of his Akkadian people with the Sumerian gods, creating a unified pantheon. He made his own daughter, Enheduanna, the high priestess of the moon god Nana in the city of Ur. This was a masterstroke. Not only did it give him religious authority, but Enheduanna herself became a towering figure. She is the first author in history whose name we know. Her hymns and poems, written on clay tablets, were studied for centuries, shaping the religious and literary culture of Mesopotamia long after she was gone. Sargon's capital, Akkad, became the wealthiest and most powerful city in the world. Its exact location is now one of history's greatest mysteries, an entire imperial city lost to the sands of time. From Akkad, Sargon and his successors ruled an empire that stretched from modern-day Turkey to the Persian Gulf. They created a new language, Akkadian, written in cuneiform script, which became the international language of the ancient Near East for over 1,000 years. This was the language of diplomacy, of law, of science. They were the first to create detailed maps, charting their lands and the world beyond. The Akkadian Empire wasn't just a military powerhouse. It was a cultural explosion that laid the groundwork for all future empires. The Babylonians, the Assyrians, even the Persians, they all looked back to the model of Sargon. His concept of a multi-ethnic, centrally controlled state became the blueprint for empire building itself. But like all great empires, the Akkadian dream began to crumble. After Sargon's long reign, his sons and grandsons faced constant rebellions. The old Sumerian cities yearned for their independence. Then, a new threat emerged. Barbarian tribes from the Zagros Mountains, known as the Gutians, swept down into the heartland of the empire. At the same time, a cataclysmic climate event struck the region, a mega drought that lasted for centuries. The rain stopped, the rivers shrank, and the fertile fields turned to dust. The empire, weakened by internal strife and starved by drought, couldn't withstand the onslaught. The Gutians sacked Akkad, and the world's first empire collapsed into a dark age. Sargon's story became a legend, a cautionary tale told for generations about the rise and fall of kings. For thousands of years, he was thought to be a mythical figure, like King Arthur. But in the 19th century, archaeologists unearthed the clay tablets that told his story, proving that the gardener's boy who became the world's first emperor was real. He built an empire that lasted for over 2 centuries, a brief but brilliant flash in human history that forever changed the course of civilization. He showed the world what was possible, not just through war, but through administration, culture, and a singular, unifying vision. From the chaos of warring cities, he forged an empire, the first of its kind, the mold from which all others would be cast. Subscribe to uncover more stories history tried to hide.